Okay, guys, the watch list for Tuesday, February 7th. Let's glance at the SPY here, just a kind of a quiet, narrow range, closing about where it opened. But we had some nice trades today. And we're going to go ahead and start the watch list here for tomorrow. Now, our GSE is weird because it had that reverse split, I believe. And so the chart, there's nothing pretty here, okay? But if you hover over this day and then look over here to the left, you can see the ranges. On this day, it went from 377 to 585. So that looks like a little bitty candle, but that's a huge percentage move that it made it on intraday basis. So it's been on some traders' radar, and it's really doing nothing here. What, 5 red days in a row? But in after hours, for some reason, this thing's up at 287. So today's high was 270. Friday's high was 306. So I mean, if it's going to hang on and kind of open above today's high, that might be a potential gap and go play tomorrow. So that's the only reason it's on watch. Not sure what the after hours activity is, but put it on my radar in after hours because I saw it on a scanner. PULM, a nice strong day today, closing nicely above its open. It's been such a crazy mover that it goes back on watch for tomorrow. ETRM is kind of flagging. After this pop, you had sellers come in and now it's going sideways. But maybe we get a breakout to the upside one of these days, so it goes on watch. On an intraday basis, I want to show you something real quick. So this was the opening candle, and the high was 765. Then it put in a lower high of 756, and then it was kind of going sideways here below the half or below the 750 mark. We'll call that the half, that most traders do. Oftentimes breaks through a half or whole number can get a stock some momentum, especially if it's a recent mover and it's holding up fairly well on an intraday basis. So I saw this thing, and I thought, you know what, I bet if this breaks over 750, that could easily take out this lower high of 756, and then what's to the left? A red to green high of day break, right? And it's a recent mover, so this made sense over 750 to me. And the reason I'm pointing this out, I'm gonna drag this over here. This was a couple calls from chat. 10 o'clock and 16 seconds, 10 o'clock and 19 seconds. It just goes to show the teamwork in our room. This Gib250 is a great trader, by the way, and always posting stuff for other people to see. But it just goes to show that what we teach in the room, the setups that we teach, it's fun when you see a member see the same exact setup. We literally had to be typing this one out at the same time. He typed out ETRM over 750. I gave it ETRM 751, 740 stop idea. And it's just a good example of what goes on in the room. And we got that nice break, and it went nicely through 8. Anyway, so back to the daily. I'm going to watch this one again tomorrow because it can make nice little intraday moves, make us some money. GLBS was on the watch list. If I take today's candle out of it, told you all I like this because it's kind of tailing down into the 200-day. And if you remember, I said I was watching dry ships for a pop today. And if dry ships pops, this could be a good setup, right? So let's go to this one on an intraday basis. All right, and this one looked like this. These are 5-minute candles. I mean, just getting no volume, but dry ships started to pop. I looked at that. Well, actually, a little bit before, one of our members, Paul F.A., put that on my radar. GLBS over 760, right? And there was a big seller. There was a big seller at 760, so I agreed with him. If that seller gets taken out, look to the left. What do you have? Possible break of a lower intraday high and then a high of day, and then the group might start chasing these low-priced, low-float shippers with dry ships moving, right? Traders look to secondary plays or sympathy plays, right? And I already had this on watch because the daily chart was interesting. So Paul puts it on my radar. I agreed. I went ahead and put out the idea. About 5 minutes later, I said I like GLBS over 760 off this dry ships move, right? Let's get that. And again, I point that out just to talk about the great teamwork. It is really fun when I see some of the students that have taken our class or just some of the traders that have been in our room and, and listen to our daily Q&A and pick up on exactly the kind of setups I like. Anyway, this is what happened. Just like that. So over 760, this thing just ripped to 880, flagged again, and went again and closed at its highs. And the daily, the reason this is on watch again is because it's very strong. And we'll see what dry ships does tomorrow. And if it moves, this one might give another nice setup. GLBS is a great mover at times. So anyway, really proud of the teamwork in the room. Speaking of dry ships, again, you can't see anything because of this crazy move back here. But if we switch to 15-minute candles, or let's go to even 60s, you had this nice pop from down here, barely above 2, to all the way to 638. And now today's high was 574. So I want to watch this one again. It might get a follow-through day. And that's why GLBS is on watch again too. GLBS had that big move is also why it's on. So some other stocks I'm watching. NAKD had this huge move, then a gap up and a huge move, closing at its lows, and today gapped up but closed below its open. So it's kind of a choppy, weird chart. But if it gives us a proper intraday setup, this one might squeeze, so it goes back on watch. I'm a big fan of these. You know, anything that makes a recent, has made a squeeze, a short squeeze recently, I try to keep on my radar. And you have the same argument here on BNTC. Huge move, couple days lower on declining volume. Hasn't retraced the entire move, so this one might turn up tomorrow. I definitely want to watch it. CERU had the gap up today, retraced some of that on lower volume. Definitely it might be a third day play, so it goes back on watch. ZAIS, huge pop, quiet inside candle, maybe a third day play there. And then lastly, I've got AOBC, which is the former SWHC, the former Smith & Wesson. They changed their name. I don't agree with that, but they didn't call and ask me. So this has been down 4 days in a row to some really nice support here at the $20 area. So we'll see what it does tomorrow, but I like this as a potential bounce off support here. And that's it. We're going to add some potential gap and go plays in the morning in addition to this list. And enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.